What's up everyone? My name is Matthew and welcome back to my series called 4 Pillars of Wellness. In this episode, I'll be focusing on the 4th pillar, which is spirit. And today I'm actually talking about a little bit of philosophical morality, which is actually prevalent in a lot of different religions and cultures across the world. So what is this morality I'm talking about? The morality I'm talking about is the golden rule. And it's the idea that you should treat others the way that you want to be treated. And so actually in this episode, I'm gonna be telling you guys why, 1, this rule is actually really good in a lot of general areas, but 2, a way in which this rule kind of lacks in certain areas, in a way that you can actually improve on it to be the best you possibly can to those around you. So firstly, the golden rule is generally a very good rule to follow, and it's a great way to think about morality and ethics in your life, right? Because treating others the way that you want to be treated is generally a good thing, right? I'm not gonna kill your brother because I wouldn't want you to kill mine. Or I'm not gonna steal from you because I wouldn't want you to steal from me. And I'm gonna tell you thank you when you do something nice for me because I would want the same back, right? And so humans in general respond to evil things in evil ways and good things in good ways, right? And so by following the golden rule, you're following this general pattern of human thoughts and emotions, and you're generally probably being good to someone if you're following that rule. However, the golden rule does lack in a few areas, and the reason it lacks sometimes is because everyone is actually a little bit different in their preferences, personalities, and even their upbringings, right? And so sometimes the way someone treats me isn't the way I want to be treated, even if they think it's the way that they would want to be treated, right? And so a good example of this in the real world is actually love languages. So there are 5 love languages. There's quality time, acts of service, gifts, words of affirmation, and physical touch. And the idea is that, and this has been studied pretty heavily, that everyone responds to these different languages of love in different ways. So for example, one person might really love words of affirmation. They might really need that motivation in those words to affirm them and make them feel loved and good. Whereas someone else might actually see those words of affirmation as a little cheesy, and they might not respond to that in such a good way. And they might prefer instead acts of service, right? And so a lot of people are actually different in their preferences in the way they want to be loved. So if you're always treating people in the way that corresponds to your own preferences, whether that's words of affirmation or acts of kindness or whatever it is, it might not actually be the best way to love the person you're trying to love. And so my challenge to you guys is to sometimes treat people the way that they need to be treated, not the way that you need to be treated. And the hard part is actually understanding when this is, right? It's really hard to distinguish when someone would want to be treated in a different way than you would want to be treated, right? And so the way to get around that is actually just being very intentional with whoever it is you're trying to be good to, whether it's a friend or someone you're in a relationship with, or a teacher, or whoever it is. You have to understand the best way to treat someone with love is to actually understand their preferences and their needs and their background and story to really treat them in the best way possible. And again, this actually takes a little bit more effort because you have to talk to this person and get to know them in a deeper way. But what you'll see is that once you know their preferences, you can actually treat them in an incredibly beautiful and loving way. And so just to recap, the golden rule is really solid in general, right? For general basic morality based things, right? Lying, stealing, cheating, you wouldn't want people to do that to you, so obviously you shouldn't do that to others. But when it comes to specific things, especially in terms of loving people and serving them, you might want to think about how they need to be treated based on their own background and stories, as opposed to the way that you need to be treated, because you come from a very different area and place than they do. So with that, I challenge you guys regardless to be very intentional with your friendships and relationships and just love people in the best way possible. And sometimes it takes that distinguishing factor to know whether they want to be treated the way you want to be treated, or if they need to be treated in a different, more specific way.